Welcome to the second episode of Paint Your Gun Sights. And I've used the Bright Sights once again. I'm going to consider it to be a success, even though I'm not super happy with the way these came out either. So I don't know if that's the Bright Sights kit or my technique. If anybody has any information, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. But other than that, let's take a look at the process. I'll show you the before, the after, and I'll give you a few thoughts on what I think. So what we're going to need today is a painter's tape. We're going to use a brand new razor blade so it cuts cleanly, and a small artist's brush to do the painting with. So this is the kit I'm going to be using. It's the Bright Sights Professional Gun Sight Kit. This is the same one that I used on the Ruger, and I'm going to be using it on the Glock also today. And I'm going to use the green and the orange just like I did for the Ruger. First, let's start by disassembling the gun so we're working with only the slide. So to spare you from being bored, I used the painter's tape to tape it off, and then the razor blade to cut out the sight. With this blue paint tape, you can just see through it, and it's the only stuff I have around the house. So I would suggest maybe getting the white painter's tape, and that might give you a better contrast for when you're using the razor blade. But overall, this didn't come out too bad, so now we're going to go ahead and start painting the rear sight. Now they caution you that this stuff does not come out of clothes. I imagine that it won't come out of carpet either, or any other fabric. So I have an old towel down that you can see, and stuff is sort of like it's almost like a gel or a paste. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm hoping it's going to turn out better than the Ruger. Alright, so let's let that set up, and we'll give it 24 hours, and then we'll come back and check it, see if I need to put a little bit more on, which I really do think I'm going to need to, but I don't want to build it up too much either. Yeah, that looks pretty good for now. So let's come back in 24 hours and see how it looks. So while we're waiting for the green to set up for 24 hours, let's go ahead and start with the orange. And instead of using the paintbrush, I've gone back to using a toothpick. But instead of using the sharp end, I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and use the kind of the widest point. I really think that this one is the one to use. I'm going to use a technique similar that I used on the Ruger. I'm just going to get a blob and try and put that right on there. And then we're going to let it dry and see how that sets up. So here we go. Alright, so I'm going to let that set up with the green, and we'll check back with that one also in 24 hours. So here's the end result with the paint, and I'm just going to use the razor blade to score around the sight so that when I pull up the tape it doesn't pull any of the paint up, since I've never done it this way. Well, there it is. As you can see, there's kind of a pain, and I'm not so sure that that's going to go ahead and stick, because it came up at one point on the lower right hand side. So we'll see how it wears. Like I said earlier, I think it's a success. I think this came out pretty good. I like the way the green and the orange work together for my own personal preference. But my observation is the green really takes 3 to 4 coats before you get really any type of color depth in it. The orange was 2 coats, I think, overall, and it really looks nice both on the Glock and on my Ruger 1911. I can't say at this time that I would recommend Bright Sights because I haven't used any other sight painting kit. So once again, if you guys have any experience with that, definitely leave me a comment below so I could check it out myself and maybe I'll buy one and use it on one of my other guns to repaint those sights. But overall, I like the way it looks. The process is kind of a pain. You know, you got to wait 24 hours for everything to dry. But other than that, what's the alternative is buying custom sights, and those are pretty expensive. When the sight painting kit is $30, and if it wears off, you can paint them again. So I think that's a win. So until next time, have a great day.